So that's a great thing, you know? I mean, there's so much we can do.
I just didn't make sure it was.
Ron, a question on hypnotism real quick. Can you hypnotize somebody who doesn't want to be hypnotized? How does that work? You have to be open for it?
I think you do, yeah, I think you need to be open. You need to feel trusting, you know?
And how long would it take to learn how to hypnotize somebody?
You know,
What do you want?
I don't know that it's like, you know,
You really want me to answer that question?
when I was in high school, you know, I hypnotized a girl.
It's gonna go over your head, it's gonna go over your
When I was
head.
in high school, had terrible ideas.
No, it's not that,
Let me finish. So I
it's-
hypnotized a girl, and
Yeah,
then she was in the car with me, was sitting next to me, and I put her in a deep trance. And then I kept telling her she was getting her skirt wet because she was sitting in water. She kept pulling it up, pulling it up.
Oh my God.
She finally woke up. Said, "What did you do?" I said, "I'm sorry." I could have got, today I'd go to jail probably for that. But I mean, you know, it's like with anything. There's a part of us that is alert, awake. There's a part of us that won't allow things to happen that are not right or not morally in step with who you
Will
are.
protect you. There's
See what I mean?
something to protect.
So it's not about controlling others like a zombie. You know, it's not about misuse. You know, I'm not sure if it can be used.
Well, that's why I asked the question.
I mean, if you're-
Anybody who may have any kind of, like you asked me a question, why do you want to know so much? Whatever you're thinking is you, not me.
Yeah. Anyway,
Because my ideas are completely different from what she's thinking.
well, you don't know what she's
Her
thinking.
mind is in the gutter, not mine.
Now, that's an accusation.
It's more
That was an
defensive. Well, you know, I'm a Sagittarius, I see. But the thing is because of life,
Yeah.
there is that out there. I want to know exactly what an
Well,
hypnotist
that's
can
not for
do
this
with
class,
that.
but what I will say is this, that, you know, that there's a link between people that's a soul link. You know, when you have a soul link with somebody, you know what that soul link is. And you can't, there's nothing's gonna change it. You know, you'll feel their presence when they're not even, you don't even know where they are, but you'll know. There's something about it. When I was in prison, I used to hypnotize a lot of people, just partly for entertainment, partly because I was curious. And every time I hypnotized somebody, there was a bond between us that was like unbreakable. They would know even if I was in a certain part of the prison in 57 square acres. They felt my presence. I was driving, there was a guy, like a brother to me, his name was John, I never hypnotized him. But our souls were linked. They were linked so deeply that you couldn't do anything to break us. He's a doctor today, he's an eminent doctor. And I encouraged him to go to medical school. I had a lot of influence over his life. He was a student of mine, but he was also a close friend. But I can remember driving on in Chicago along, I think it was like the Michigan Avenue along the lake, and there was a place where you make a curve just like this on the road I'm on, and there's an entrance to a gas station going here. There's another entrance over here. And as I'm coming up on this gas station, I had this urge to go get gas. And I look at my gas tank and it's full. But it's so hard. I'm thinking, I want to go in that gas station. I go around the curve and there's another entrance and I can't resist it. I pull into this gas station. For what? I don't need gas.
The gauge is broken.
No, John's there.
Ah.
And his girlfriend. You know what I mean? I mean, it was like, there was something pulling me in. That happened to me with Amrit Desai, a yoga master who I once had a powerful influence from his life. I tried to leave Toledo, Ohio to go back to Columbus. Picked up a hitchhiker, and I'd been shown his picture by somebody and said, you know, you should go to this thing. This girlfriend, she was going to go, and I thought, wow, sounds interesting, but I'm not interested in this. And it was at this monastery, ex-monastery, and he was having a big thing. People coming from all over to be at this conference. And I remember trying to leave Toledo, and I'd get on the freeway, and I'd get lost, and I'd be going back towards this thing. And next thing I get back on, I'm determined to get to Columbus. I pick up a hitchhiker, he's got me directed this and that. Next thing I know, I'm going back to this big monastery, thinking, what the hell's going on here? Finally, I'm so angry, I get back on the freeway, and I'm driving, and I have this urge to turn off. In the country, there's nothing but cornfields in this Ohio place. I take off and get off this freeway for some reason which is not even rational. That's what the subconscious can do. It's powerful. I get off and I can't get back on because they're doing road construction. I gotta go back the way it was coming. So I ended up going back and I said, the hell with it, I'm going to this thing. I give up, you know, I gotta go. And thank God I did, it changed my life. He changed my life, you know. But here we are, we're talking about the power of the subconscious mind. You hear about women that are, you know, their child's underneath the car and they pick the car up. You say, where did that happen? What's that about? Where'd that strength come from? Some inhuman strength, it's something we don't even understand. You know, so I could go on and on about this, but we're dealing with this, the soul, the heart, the instinct, the feelings, the subconscious mind, okay? And it's all giving birth to something over here, and what we want to do is change it. So the point is, back to the simple thing. What are you here for? You're here to purify your souls. I'm hoping I'm giving you a path to that. I'm hoping that what I taught you and things I'm giving you gives you some indication of how to go on that path of soul purification. Because that's the ultimate aim. And so how do you do it? Seeing you purified your souls and obeying the truth through the spirit, conscious mind, unto unfeigned love of thy brother. It's not easy to love others, is it? It's not easy. But that's all we're asked to do. A sacrifice of love, if you would, because it's not easy. It's crucifying us sometimes. Sometimes we're crucified. And sometimes our own early childhood events, you know, create for us even today problems. You know? Somebody said to me one day, were you abused as a child? I said, a lot. And he said, that's why you get such an anger. That's why you can unleash such an anger, a wrath, when somebody gets into an intimidation with you. And that's childhood stuff. It's still in my soul. It's still there. It's very deep in my soul. And we're all dealing with these issues. We're dealing with our parents. We're dealing with them all day. We think we're not, but they're there. Okay? And they have our impact on our lives. So our job is to purify that. And then we can only do that by love. I sit down with a client, and she says, you know, my father was very abusive, but I love him. Wow, is that a statement? Huh? You forgive me for talking about you. But, you know, what are we talking about? A person that's come above all this, that loves despite that, despite being crucified, being hurt, being put through these things in life, okay? I still love him. Isn't that amazing how we can love even though we're hurt? Yes?
Okay, these things here, these three things, aspects of a human being, okay, I understand that. What about a spirit, something that doesn't have body? How would that be applying to, or they're just soul and spirit without the body? Because you're still going to have other, I
don't think it's spirit, I think it's soul. I think that souls can be still attached to the earth. I think that, I mean, I don't know. I once, a neighbor of mine had a Ouija board, and I'm not one to know, you know, but she's on the Ouija board, and I got my hand there with her, and she's saying, who's going to come through, right? You know, it was very mystical, you know, and I'm wondering, and next thing I know, it goes to Jay. Then it comes back, and it goes back to Jay again. I said, oh my God.
Jimmy Walker.
No, JJ was the guy that, we were in a home where we were being starved when I was young, and they were keeping us for the state's money. They gave them state money. They give us cereal with water on it. They didn't buy milk for us. They were terrible people. And my sister and I were living there, and starving, quite frankly. And I got on the phone one day when they weren't around, and I just dialed the number out of the phone book. I just opened the book. I didn't know where I was at. I was very young. I was 7. She was my sister was 6. And I just dialed the number, and I called and I said, you know, listen, you know, you don't know me, but this is what's going on. I was a young child, but I was able to tell them what was going on. And it happened to be Mr. and Mrs. Davidson. His name was JJ. And so they took us as a foster family. They took us. And they were the most loving people I'd ever been with. I wasn't used to being loved, you know. Used to being abused, beaten, everything else. But these people were like so loving to me. And Mrs. Davidson, every night she'd fix my hair, and she would put, you know, those little clamps, little long clamps that makes a wave. Yeah. She put it in front, like here at night, you know. And my hair was straight as beef when I moved there. Before long, my hair started curling. Everything curled. I got curly hairs. And so I thought, my God, you know, I guess that's what love does. You know what I mean? But I had a lot of problems, emotional problems, and I was abused a lot as a child. even in school, because I was still dealing with a lot of issues that I didn't understand at that time. My mother was off doing other things, not raising me. And my father was in the war. I was born in 39, you can imagine. The war was over, what, in 45 or something. But anyway, here's the whole story. What I'm trying to say, so JJ comes through on this Ouija board. And I'm thinking, nobody could know that name. You know, nobody could have picked that. Because the woman says to me, who's JJ? I said, you won't believe this. And I remember when I was 17 years old, my dad, who had came back out of the military, came home, remarried with a woman who had a boy, a year younger than me. And he took my sister and I and her son, and we all had a family, normal, when I was 9 years old. Lived a basically semi-normal life from there on. And so, where was I going with this story?
JJ.
JJ. So I'm 17 years old, and they always said, it's better you start over. We don't want you to have to think about the past, live in the past. So they wouldn't let me call JJ, and I forgot her name, can you believe that? Anyway, Mr. and Mrs. Davidson, anyway, they wouldn't let me call her. And at 17, I expressed my frustration with that. I said, you know, how come you never let me talk to her? You know, he said, you really want to talk to her all these years? I said, yes, I love them very much, you know, and I said, I would like to talk to them and know they're okay. So he puts me on the phone to her. She's still there. And I'm talking to her, and I said, can I speak to JJ after I talked to her for a while? And she says, Ron, she says, I hate to tell you this, but JJ passed away years ago. And I broke down like a child. I cried. I couldn't believe how it impacted me. Because I didn't know, you know, at that age, that many years later, you don't know how much of an impact it can have on you. And I mean, I was literally brought to the floor with tears and sorrow. And I couldn't talk anymore. My dad took the phone. He said, see, it's better you didn't talk. And I said, no, it's not. You know, it's better I do talk.
Right.
But anyway, so where was I going with all that? I don't know.
JJ.
Ouija boards, yes. My gosh, here we are on a Ouija board. Let's move it around and find out what's. So I'm open to anything. You know, people say, oh, you got to stay away from all that stuff. I don't know that. You know, the scripture says, it says this is try all things, prove all things, and hold fast to that which is good. I've lived my life that way. You know, if somebody tells me getting out of this bed on the right side instead of the left every day is going to make my life better, I'd probably do it until I find out different. You know, I'm stupid, I'll do it. You know, I'll try all things, prove all things. And that's how I live my life. And I'm not like this. You know, I'm a Catholic, and I don't see right and I don't see left. You know, I believe what the Pope says, and that's the end of it.
You only have a horse.
Gotta be my Sagittarius.
You got the best part of the horse, right?
I like that. So anyway, are we going anywhere? My God, I've been going for what?
Well, what happened to JJ and the thing? Did he say anything?
Yeah, he said, I love you. I'm there for you. You know,
Good.
I'm watching over you. She told me, she says, he's always there with you.
Beautiful.
Isn't that an amazing story? Anyway.
Can I tell you something really weird about that?
Yeah, well, I
That's
want
my
to hear.
grandmother's name is JJ, and the other thing is, this morning, I was with someone and her dog was named JJ. I was
Come
like,
on.
no,
Oh,
I'm
my
serious,
goodness.
and I was like, that's weird. I said, that's my grandmother's name, you know, it's kind of a weird thing, I just feel, I know she's trying, I feel like I know.
Isn't that
she's trying to
amazing?
get through it.
Wow.
Getting a
It's
message
weird.
here, aren't you?
Totally, yeah, I know it.
What is that called? What's the word for that?
Synchronicity was saying exactly.
Yeah.
And what's the other word you said?
No, synchronicity.
There's another word that somebody said.
Serendipity.
Serendipity. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
You know,